Hey everyone, let's get right into it. This is my top 10 wishlist updates for Final Fantasy XIV's upcoming expansion, Dawntrail. These are in no particular order, except for maybe the last one, something I really want to see added to the game. So please, be sure to watch to the end.
The only thing I care about, I'm gonna be real, is the large scale content. I don't know what he's gonna go into. He's probably gonna go into stuff that's like not listed. But I'm serious when I say this. The only thing that matters, if they did everything with the Endwalker and did large scale content, I wouldn't care. That's all I need. I'll be happy.
Let's get started.
Oh shit, ass sliders. I'm fucking stupid. You're right. You're right. No. Ass sliders. True. No, I'm dumb. I'm done. Ass sliders. Absolutely. Two things. Mandatory. Ass sliders is mandatory.
Number 10, housing. Buying a private house can take longer than clearing an ultimate raid. You're gonna pull your hair out trying to bid on a house on a popular data center. So, how do we fix this? With instance housing options. Why not just make it so you can...
I feel like the Island Sanctuary should have just been this. I feel like Island Sanctuary just should have been this. I don't understand at all why Island Sanctuary isn't this. I get that they allowed outdoor housing, but why did they not allow indoor housing? They need to just let you build a fucking building in Island Sanctuary and put all the indoor housing inside of it and give people what they want that's instance and let their friends come over. They made a whole entire instance system to do this, and it's apparently, from my understanding, using the exact same system as going into your house. Because around the time when Island Sanctuary came out, people started having difficulties of even going into their own houses. So I'm pretty confident it's whatever underlying servers that they use to create the instances of Island Sanctuary, it would work the exact same way. So it's ridiculous to me at this point that this isn't something. Yeah, it's proof that they can do it.
You can build your secluded mansion on your Island Sanctuary.
Yeah,
Maybe we don't want to stare at obnoxious lawn decorations in our neighbor's yard, and we'd like a...
Oh, come on. What's wrong with the Piazza? Fuck you, Todd.
bit more privacy so only our friends can come over, or those with a password. If we had the option to build our own house on the island, it could honestly free up a lot of real estate.
You know what? You remember the... I don't know if anyone's seen this, but there's like the HOA of Eorzea, the Homeowners Association. Like... they were going around and like people were serious about this where they were like critiquing people's houses and shit and like, no, you can't have this shit here. Get the fuck out. Get out of my neighborhood. Fuck you.
State in the standard wards, or just add more wards, a lot more. But let's have them in some cool new places, like who wants void housing, an underwater Ruby Sea housing, a residential district in the Crystarium or Old Charlayan? Or maybe, if you're a Chrono Trigger fan like me, you'd like to have a neighborhood in Elpis, where your home is on a magical floating island in the sky, like the Kingdom of Zeal.
I think a floating island would be cool. Out of anything that's listed, floating island. Give me it. The second I bought my last mansion, I got a whisper from someone telling me they're part of the HOA. Damn! Dude, I'm never at my houses long enough to, like, have someone be like HOA at me and shit. I hope the HOA never finds my Lala prison. I mean, wait, what?
Bottom line, players want housing, and we just need more. So let's help the homeless of Eorzea. Number 9. Cross-data center problems. There are a lot of folks who live on Primal, Crystal, and that other one who haven't seen their home server or free company in months, maybe years. Why? Because they're parked on Aether, using its party finder and faster, busier queues.
Yeah, they need to make it so that PF is cross server or cross data center. They need to make it so Aether, Primal, Crystal, and Dynamis are all connected. They cannot be separated at all in any way, shape, or form between instances and PF. If they don't do that, this is going to forever happen. Like, the only light that I see that could possibly stop this is materia. And the only way Materia solves any of that is because EU and NA want to play together, or maybe some like the Oceanic people want to play, because it's like one centralized location. But like otherwise, I don't see this ever being resolved. There is no way for like people to go back and stay at their like their own DC, or any reason to, other than being on Aether. And Aether's gonna shut down in Dawntrail. Like I feel like Aether's gonna blow the fuck up. Or maybe, I guess maybe it'll be so popular that people won't be able to even make it to Aether, but my suspicion it's gonna be pretty bad.
What can be done about this? Well, a few things. Number one, have a singular party finder listing for an entire region so people can hang out where they please and have access to the things they need on their home DC. Or, if that's too much, why don't we just allow FC buffs and chest access even while visiting another DC?
Yep.
It's bad enough that link shells stop working. You're simply unable to use many of the features of the game because you want to be on a more populated data center to run content. Let's allow trading, or mailing your alts, or even just being able to add your alts to your friends list. Hoarders would rejoice.
The reason they do not let you send stuff to your alts is because of RMT, quote unquote. But I think the real reason is because they want you to buy more retainers. Because if I had access to all my alts, I would never have to buy more retainers. I would just function on multiple characters. Granted, you do already pay a sub to have more than one character. I mean, I think legacy people from 1.0 don't have to do that, but at least like anyone who's like bought post 1.0, you have to pay like for your additional slots. But I'm like pretty confident that the real reason that they don't want to do this, and I don't think they'll ever want to do this, is because they want to make sure that people are buying retainers. It is to their advantage and profit for people to have low inventory space, and they try and keep it like a... This is why they don't increase the glamour dresser very quickly, is because they have a better chance at making more money off of people.
And inventories would appear pristine once you're able to offload your trinkets and collectibles you've been saving since A Realm Reborn. Give us access to retainers and mailboxes, regardless of where you're visiting. It's exhausting to have to go back and forth to different DCs to get anything done. I'm happy we're able to travel. It's a good start, but it can definitely be improved and streamlined a bit more. Number 8, account-wide updates. Some of us have an alt addiction, and it can be a pain to manage all of them. Redo store.
I think this is a very like raider problem more than anything. And I do know other people have alts, but like I think the bigger thing here is this is more of a raider problem, because the only reason I see, besides maybe RP reasons, is there's no reason to have multiple alts unless you're just wanting more lockouts. And I don't know. I mean, maybe someone could explain to me another reason besides those two, but it doesn't make sense to me to have another character for anything but raiding or RP. My case is a little special because I was once raiding, and I also now do fashion report. That's why I have multiple characters. But like that is, I feel like, an extreme case.
Story, unlock dungeons and raids, you name it. What I would love to see is the ability to have account-wide character progression so you can easily have things like flying unlocked, Aether currents, map discovery, shared seasonal quest completion, and even past raid tiers unlocked.
That'd be nice for like the mount collection to be linked between all of your characters. But once again, I'm going to go back to saying that the reason they don't want to do that is some of the mounts are not account wide. You do not get those mounts on your every single account. Like when you buy one of the mounts on the store, it's literally like some of them are just one single person gets it. Like there's so much to me that like always goes back to how they monetize the game when it comes to this stuff.
Maybe this could be a choice when you start a new character, since there are some who enjoy a clean, fully immersive playthrough. For those who just want another character to help on other DCs and servers, it doesn't really add extra value to your gaming experience, and certainly not to your time when you have to go back and unlock a million things. You're not getting anything new from it, and I would appreciate the convenience. I'd also like to see minions, mounts, glamours, anything cosmetic to be applied count-wide.
Yep.
Especially my 1.0 Mark of the 12. I need to flex that as much as possible. I hate getting scammed from the online shop.
I literally fantasied one of my characters that was from 1.0 to be an RA so that you could have an RA with the legacy mark. I'm sure there's other people who have like done that to like either Hrothgars or bunnies and stuff like that, but like that's the main reason I have Adelina as an RA is because you couldn't have the legacy mark on a brand new character, so I had to Fantasia her over.
Purchasing the same item for multiple characters. I feel like those should just...
You could mass produce bots much faster if you had a count-wide progression, Kai. Yeah, but wouldn't if they banned one bot, wouldn't that nuke the entire account? So for me, like, it doesn't... The bot thing doesn't make sense, because, like, if there's someone's botting, they could nuke just the account immediately. And that solves the situation, right? It's not like a bot is... Like, what's a bot gonna do for having multiple characters than you're gonna do on one character? Like, because I assume a bot's gonna sit there and grind, right? Like, what are they doing otherwise? I guess I just don't see the point, because, like, I have my Square Enix account that's, like, Final Fantasy XIV account 1, right? So that's, like, my main account that's, like, Kai. I have, like, FFXIV account 2, which is, like, my second, like, subscription account, but I don't use that anymore. It used to be for when, like, me and Nari would, like, push ourselves into 4-man content with each other with 2 other characters. So she'd have one and I'd have one. And there's, like, other stuff that, like, we had those, like, extra characters for. But, like, that I had to pay a totally different subscription. I'm not talking about, like, oh, hey, I have 3 different subscriptions. They should all have mounts. Not like that. It should be, like, my main 14 account, which is, like, Kaiyoko's on, that should have all of, like, the same stuff. Not like, mass producing where you, like, have multiple characters all running at the same time.
Be shared. Emotes, achievements, and many of our cosmetic items should all be shared as well. What if we extended our glamour dresser to be account-wide? We want to look good on our alts without all the hassle that comes with repeating content.
Goes back to the RP thing. If someone RPs a character, yo, they go in on that Mog station and buying a bunch of shit still. Because, I mean, I did that. I've bought the Songbird outfit multiple times on my alts. I've bought the various other outfits multiple times on my alts. Like, I guarantee you this is all merch, like, not merch, all, like, their store, and they don't want that stuff crossed, because the second they do that, it eliminates an opportunity for them to make more money.
Side note, maybe number 7.5, but SE, please fix your website. It's hard to navigate, it doesn't remember your one-time login, and it's probably...
I don't judge at all people who do it at all, Ali. I'm just stating the reason why SE does it is all that it is. I feel it's stupid that this stuff is an account wide, but I also know they're a business trying to make money, and they're gonna do anything to kind of mask their ways of making money, or maybe sometimes it's blatantly obvious to other people, but there's no way to me in my mind that that's not the reason they're doing it.
Probably the biggest deterrent of new players who can't figure out how to register. Number 7, cosmetic additions. Now, we are getting additional dye options, but I'd love to see even more ways to customize the look of our glamours. I think the dye system from Guild Wars 2 is an amazing example of what we could have.
Once you get a dye in Guild Wars 2, doesn't it, like, it unlock permanently, is my understanding. So, like, it's more of like almost like an emo or mount in this game. So that's what I took it as.
Imagine permanently learning the dyes that you've obtained and having up to 3 ways to color your clothes.
Yeah, I wish you could.
This needs to happen. It would also be cool if you could dye your chocobo barding too. Let's increase the number of glamour plates. We just don't have enough. I want more, and right now we're very limited.
I think if the glamour dresser was unlimited and the plates were confined to 20 and you didn't have to worry about losing your dyes, you wouldn't need more plates. The dyes and the limited glamour space, in my mind, makes plates more valuable. Because you'll save like expensive dyes on the plates, right? And you're never gonna want to change that expensive dye saved on the plate. So if the dye system got changed, as far as how it works with like plates, even if like the plate were to disappear, 20's enough in my mind. Obviously with more jobs being added in, you want the amount of plates to equal the jobs at minimum. But that's the extent of it to me. I don't think there should ever be more plates than there is jobs, or it's unnecessary. I mean, if there's unlimited, hell yeah, fucking give it to me. But like, the reality is I think if you could have once you unlock jet black dye or pure white dye and it stayed there permanently for an eternity, you wouldn't need to worry about this plate thing, in my mind at least. Because I think 20's plenty.
I also think we should take a hard look at WoW's collection and transmog system, because having that in Final Fantasy XIV would be amazing.
I think the main reason I want this is for collection aspect, because then I can just actually go out and like have an objective. I want to get all of this raid's armor. Like I would literally make stream content that is like, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna grind this raid until I get every single piece, and until I just gradually unlock everything. That would be absolutely an objective of mine. I would love collecting every single item in the whole entire game and having it like stored in something like this. This is like an achievement hunter's like dream, at least for 14.
You can see what pieces you own, what you're missing. You can even preview how it looks on your character. You'd be able to create multiple outfit sets or wish lists to track down. We could even see where to find certain pieces of gear. If it's crafted, a boss drop, an achievement, all of this info could be at our fingertips, making it much easier to hunt down that certain look you were going for. After all, fashion is the true in-game content.
I think that's the part that's crazy to me, is I feel like the thing that is so important to 14 is everything with the look of your character, more so than even WoW, but we have a worse glamoring system. I think that's crazy.
Adventurer plates and portraits need to be tweaked.
One of the reasons I do not like doing mentor roulette anymore, and I'm not kidding, every single fucking time I do mentor roulette on stream, you all are like, DMV! DMV! And it's like, I fucking hate this system. I hate this system. I hate the system so much. I hate it so fucking much. It is literally a deterrent for me wanting to switch jobs. It's so fucked up.
Portraits shouldn't break as often, so we're met with a default yearbook blank stare when we change anything. I think we should expand the selection of poses, even unique ones like Shiva, to get a wider selection of action shots. And what if we could share a template of our design with others? Or even just be able to use it across our alts. We want to look good.
Holy shit.
And we definitely would keep it wholesome this time, right? Beards. We need more options, not some wispy, patchy chin.
Even Clive's beard looks like shit in this game comparatively. Like, bro. Dude, Clive's beard got fucking nuked, man.
Strap. We need some fuller, longer beards, not limited to just Highland hewers. Give us more ways to customize our beards.
Oh man, they have the Xeno beard in Baldur's Gate. Damn, that's fucked up, man. Bald?
And maybe in red, so we can...
I actually think if there'd be more bald characters, if it was good, there were good beards. Because I think a lot of the reason people don't like going bald in this game is because you just don't have any fucking hair on your chin. or even around your face.
Look like our favorite bald streamer. Butts. This has been requested over and over again.
Please?
But all the butts in our game are flat, unless we wear 2B leggings, and
Even
that's it.
still, that's
our
not
only
even like
option.
that much a booty.
To be or not to be. If we had a butt slider, we could actually enjoy wearing other pants and leggings while
Dude, that guy's back is fucked. He needs some work done there, man.
showing off our backside with a set of squats. Honestly, more choices in character creation would put us on par with newer games, so our Warriors of Light feel less generic. Lastly, Viera and Hrothgar need to be able to wear hats. I wish SE would devote resources.
Okay. I don't want to continue on this subject. I don't want to like fucking go crazy too much. But once again, you guys shouldn't use mods. Don't make Yoshi P cry. But if mod developers are fixing this problem for Square Enix, and they have been fixing said problem for Square Enix, I don't blame people for one, being upset, and two, then using mods. Playing a Viera or Hrothgar is a gateway drug to using mods, because you literally have limited them on being able to wear fucking hats. Kind of fucked up, man.
Into updating all of the helmets, hats, and trash cans to adequately protect their ears. Having all of these cosmetic updates and more variety into our customization would be phenomenal and a must-have for future games if you want to stay competitive. Number 6. This is a big one, raid and dungeon content. I think the biggest problem Final Fantasy XIV is facing here is that there's barely any mid-core content.
Okay, I guess this kind of goes over, I would say, large-scale content. Like, we lost BA, we lost DSR, like, or sorry, DRS, not DSR. We lost DRS and, like, all of those kind of pieces of content. That is mid-core to me. I feel like we still have all of the raid content we need. I've never felt like we're low on raid content outside of that kind of stuff. And after we lost that, I definitely felt it. And I don't personally think that Criterion and Variant Dungeons supply what is needed for when it comes to this. I don't see the appeal, and I feel like there's a big problem when 24-mans that are currently in the game present no challenge at all, and they have no resistance at all. It's very, very casual content, and then there's not really a jump into any more difficulty in any way, shape, or form. I did feel like DRS and BA and like the various like dungeons, even though, or raids that were like in Boja, while they're not like, it's not hard to do if you have enough people that know what they're doing, you still have like mechanics in those things and some general things that like are, it's forgiving enough where people can learn. I never felt like this was like, this is like, oh my god, you have to be the most hardcore elite player to do this stuff.
What do I mean when I say that? Well, probably something about as hard as an extreme trial, somewhere in that ballpark area. Easier than Savage, but harder than normals. I feel things are either too easy or too hard for your average player, and we need more mid-level content or even a progressive difficulty dungeon system.
So Criterion is, in their mind, I think, what Mythic Dungeons are, without the Mythic Dungeon rewards. I know Mythic Dungeons are quite different, okay? I'm not comparing them outside of the fact that, like, what I think Square Enix imagines, I think that's in their, like, mind for some reason. That's what they want to do. But that is kind of what we got, and I just don't think it stacks up. Hey, Haru. How you doing? How you been? Where you been? Thank you, Cobalt, for gifting that sub to Haru, by the way. Current Savage and Ultimate is pretty darn difficult, and everything else, EX trials are way too easy. Yeah, exactly. I agree. But like I do think like Criterion is hard content. I have no incentive to doing it, and I think it's just like when we did it on stream, I'm sorry, like I got bored of doing it, and I immediately knew when we started doing the latest one that I didn't want to finish it like on the first night. I was like, why am I doing this? Like I just it didn't feel rewarding just for the fact of doing difficulty, because like I felt like, why am I challenging myself to this thing and it means nothing? And I think that one of the things about Mythic Plus is like you get rewards, I think, from just like doing it, and it scales so that it gradually gets harder and it kind of fits your difficulty, or like you kind of hit a wall and then it resets you. And I know there's problems with the Mythic dungeon system in WoW, but it still feels like you get to a certain point and then you can grind your keys out of what you're appropriate at, right? And you can gradually work towards harder and harder, right? But like as far as Criterion goes, I don't feel like there's anything that gives me a reason to do it outside of like the mount.
That way, these players gradually improve their skills and learn their jobs so that Savage and beyond will be far less daunting. Variant and Criterion dungeons are a great start to this, but I feel they're one and done in most cases. Perhaps if we had a Mythic Plus style dungeon system, or something that allowed us to replay our favorite dungeons from past expansions, but they are far more challenging. Hey, I'm down for Mythic Plus and Time Walking in 14, or simply just an extension of our Unreal trials, applying it to dungeons and raids. Give us more rewards too. We need to...
I will say this, I like Unreal. I think Unreal is one of the best things they've added. I think the only thing about Unreal is I wish they would almost do like an Unreal shuffle. So like each week, Unreal is different, and you're not just grinding a whole entire patch of the exact same Unreal. And if it shifted between them and there was like some reward system that made it worth it, I would like that. Because I do think all the Unreal fights generally have been like good. I'm trying to think of one I didn't like. I think I didn't do Sephiroth that much, but that was more of just like I just didn't care to do it because I was able to buy from like the previous patch what I wanted.
To incentivize dungeons as well. Maybe we have unique trinkets and accessories that only work inside these special dungeons. Let us earn side grades, twines, shines, glamour items, dyes. Please, just anything other than boring materia. I feel that's just a lazy reward. I also think Alliance gear should be equal in eye level to Savage gear, because basically it's just a cosmetic piece of armor.
I think the fact that you are literally 3 months after Savage when it comes to like the release of Savage, if you can't beat Savage in those first 3 months, it's not because of your gear. Gear should be the least of your worries. And if an Alliance raid gave you the same item level as a Savage piece, you're not clearing one way or the other just because of that item. SE shouldn't worry about that. You should... You're at that point, the reason you didn't clear Savage within those 3 months is because of your skill or you didn't have the time. It's one of the two. So giving people the same item level from the Alliance content isn't gonna make a difference. I think that's ridiculous that the Alliance raid doesn't give the same item level. I don't get it at this point.
It would help gear up our second, third, fourth, however many jobs that you have a bit faster than praying for the right drops in Party Finder. By making this gear on par with Savage, you give players a reason to run it for more than just a coin and a chance at a glamour piece. increase the tombstone cap and unlock the raid sooner. The very next patch after a raid tier is released is when we should have them unlocked so we can farm them.
Yep.
It will take you several months otherwise to gear up 2 to 3 jobs, especially if you don't have a...
There is absolutely no reason that, like this goes back to the same thing. If it took you longer than 3 months, it's not a gear thing, ever, that you didn't clear Savage within those first 3 months of its release. If they unlocked it and let people grind the shit out of it, it's just giving people more content to do, or go and grind glamour. Let them go do it. It's not hurting anything. There should be no issues with it at all. I don't understand why it's necessary to wait 6 months to unlock something at this point, because who cares if people go and grind, get all the accessories, get all the, like, the armor, get all the weapons once they've already been clearing it for weeks on end at that point? Or if they haven't been, let them catch up. Why does it matter? It's not like it changes the power rating of the game. If anything, it would actually, like, probably help with, like, promoting Ultimate to a degree, because people could get, like, all their armor for Ultimate quicker. I know there's like the issue with, like, dungeon gear being, like, what's best in slot for Ultimate too. So there is that, obviously, but that doesn't happen until way past, like, the Ultimate existing, right? So that doesn't even matter to me.
Static to farm with. Waiting 8 months for a tier to unlock is far too long. Raiders can be locked into a single role or job if there's an ultimate raid being released right after a Savage tier. Additionally, we could have more raiders being able to flex multiple roles in Party Finder to help their friends and pugs clear content, while also not screwing them out of loot because they've already cleared for the week. Some jobs best in slot also requires a ton of tombstones, so you're out weeks if you want to gear up something else. I would love to see these restrictions relaxed a bit.
I don't think if they made the default 900 versus 450 for week 1, it's not going to hurt the world race. That is not the difference between someone clearing and not clearing in my mind. Maybe there's, like, a very slight, tiny percentage that may save the day for some people, but I realistically don't think this is going to matter, because a lot of the world first raiders will even do, like, multiple runs, like, with alts and shit to get themselves even more geared. Like, there's tons of, like, character jumping and feeding gear to one character at this point. T8S doesn't matter. Now that boxes exist, if they run into a wall where they can't beat something because of gearing, they either sit there and grind that until they just get their perfect clear, or they go and feed more loot to their other characters by jumping around and giving the boxes to the right characters. Because it's not like it's an issue of you having random RNG when it comes to loot anymore. This is a non-issue. You can determine exactly what piece you get outside of maybe, like, the slot, but you can feed one character all of their gear. It's not like you're waiting for striking gear. It's not like you're waiting for scouting gear. It's not like you're waiting for fending gear or shit like this. You can guarantee that your DPS you want to feed gear is getting gear. Yeah, it's split clear. Yeah, exactly. Week 1 split clear is already. It's almost irrelevant. The only time that it is split clears don't happen is if the raid tier is super easy to breeze through, and it's more of like, we just need to meet this mechanic check. If they ever hit a gear wall, they will split clear.
You may even see more Party Finder groups as a result. Number 5. Party Finder and Raid Tools. Cross DC Party Finder listings. I mentioned this before, but it's worth bringing up again. A master listing would be awesome. We should be able to access a central PF based on our region.
They need to make PvP, like, I mean, this just goes for all instance content, but I think PvP especially needs to be cross-server or cross DC. I at least for, like, the North American altogether. Like, everything Duty Finder, Party Finder related should be cross DC. We have way too many people stuck on Aether. there should not be a case where like people like start on Dynamis and they never go back to Dynamis, and then Dynamis is a ghost town, for example, because that's gonna look bad to new players. I really think it's gonna look bad to new players, because if they start the game and there's no one basically in Limsa, or no one basically in like a lot of these places outside of like a few people hanging out, or they're like going around on their server and they never see someone out in the open world, it's gonna feel so lonely and not like an MMO.
I'd also like to be able to join listings on alts if I've cleared on my main, and make it so it shows which role I've cleared a fight on. I want to be able to communicate with a PF leader as much as possible without having to hop on different characters to prove anything.
RP venues should have their own tab so that we don't have stuff being like unfiltered, almost is maybe the best way to put it. Each of these tabs should like be very, you know what's there. And if it invades other tabs for any other reason, that should be reportable. Yeah, I think RP venues should have their own tab, or an RP tab specifically. And then you won't have that issue where like, I feel like the cross CCPF has like way too much shit in it, and or like stuff you don't want to see, or it's like getting in your way.
What if we had a native raid simulator in game?
Okay, hold on. I don't think they should do this. I don't think they should do this, because I think this would make, while I know there's people who use this, and I know it's very common that certain people use this, I get it. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I don't think they should do this, because it will lead to I think it'll lead to very early clear rates, and then they'll just make the content way harder. I think it'll make the content way harder, and I think it is way more satisfying personally to reach a particular phase and get to that particular phase because you grinded to get there every single time. Now, I think this is also a Ultimate Raiders problem, more so than anything else, because you will go hours upon hours upon hours of not getting to really distant phases in Ultimate sometime, because you have this one guy or one person that is just not able to wrap their head around a mechanic. I get that's frustrating, but I feel like that's part of the game, and that's part of playing with other people.
14 does not do a great job of preparing you for in-game content. Imagine Stone Sky Sea, but you could pick your raid and mechanics you want to practice. This wouldn't be readily available on release of a new raid tier, but
Okay.
perhaps add
I
it
mean,
to
I
a
guess
later.
I don't care if it's I don't care, I guess. But like, if it's not unreadily on the release of a raid tier, I mean, what's the point of it then?
Patch to help struggling players beat the learning curve without having to feel any embarrassment failing in pugs with other players. This is the #1 reason I hear why some people don't raid. They don't want to wipe the group. Well,
I don't think this is gonna save it. I think people are still, because I feel like, okay, I get what he's saying. It'll reduce like maybe some anxiety for people, but I ultimately don't think that's going to like solve people's anxiety. I think someone always is gonna come up with a reason why they don't want to raid. It's like tank anxiety, social anxiety, mechanic anxiety, whatever, ultimate anxiety, whatever thing. They just don't want to do it because it makes them intimidated. Like, someone's gonna come up with an excuse. I think if someone wants to raid, they will do it. And giving them a bunch of like barriers like this to like reduce it, I don't think it's gonna help. I think they're still gonna come up with a reason why they don't want to do it.
now they'd have a chance to practice on their own time to gain that confidence they need to join a pug or...
Also, I think the confidence thing, I think it's more related to, you don't want to feel like you get harassed by someone else or make you feel bad in the eyes of someone else. Like, I don't think you just overcome that because you have a sim. Because I feel like someone's going to still say, oh, I'm going to fuck up in the real situation outside of the sim. By the way, Fluffy, Manicore, and Hunter, thank you for the follow.
or learning party. If that's too much to ask, then what if we expanded the Hall of the Novice to have higher difficulty challenges? We could...
I think this is more valuable, having like harder mechanics through this, but I will say this, and I've heard this from Yoshida when he was talking about another interview, or like this wasn't during the interview, it was during the panel. A lot of mechanics get reused multiple times, and he said that gets boring. And I think that's what he was referencing, because you know how there's like Lunar Dynamo, Chariot, and all this kind of shit? It repeats over and over and over again, and there's like just various like known mechanics. Like people understand these like ideas and concepts that get reused in the game over and over. When he says that he's falling asleep, I think that's a lot of what he's talking about too. Because it's like repetitive shit that you've already seen before, just in a different like setting of visuals. It's nothing different. And I think challenging yourself to using new mechanics, while this kind of thing may help some people learn those, but if that's only helping you with that base set of mechanics that constantly gets reused. They've already said, or my understanding is he's not having that stuff get reused as much. There's only so many times you can fucking, get extra flares, extra squares, extra whatever fucking thing over and over again, right? There was extra flares in the fucking Fall Guys, like, collab, right? Like, so, to me, I don't know how useful this is. While it might teach some basic, like, more complicated mechanics, I do think some concepts can be taught through here that might be useful. And I do think giving some harder like concepts might be helpful for like the Hall of the Novice. I think a better use for like teaching concepts is encouraging people to use trusts, and the trusts within dungeons do harder mechanics. Or you do harder mechanics in dungeons, and then if you want the trust to teach you, do it that way. Have like a more natural experience of learning this shit through dungeons than just expecting them to go through a tutorial. Because in my mind, doing a dungeon or like an 8-man content that's like on normal mode, that should teach you basic concepts. And if you're not being taught basic concepts through like the game that way, I think that's a problem. At least in my mind it is.
You could have the Hall of the Raider, which will teach raid mechanics, tank swaps, mitigation checks, defensive cooldowns, debuff management, boss positioning, and raid awareness of other allies.
Oh yeah, Shakiri, thank you so much for the 16 months. I got in a rant and I forgot to say it, but thank you for the 16 months. I forgot Prime is hidden nowadays. Wait, it's hidden. What the fuck?
And then maybe a Hall of the Savage Champion after you graduate from that one with even more intense scenarios. Or we could be sneaky and teach raid mechanics through the mini games in Gold Saucer.
I think
there's definitely a need.
Like Shion said, I thought this was good. I actually think this is good to teach you concepts. I think some of the mechanics, because of the ping, was bullshit. But there are bullshit mechanics ping-wise, even in raiding.
Need to have more training tools to help aspiring raiders tackle challenging content. Number 4, the chat window. My main problem with the chat window has to do with its menus. Often, when you receive a tell and try to respond or invite them to your...
I think the tells are really bad because if someone's on a different like server or different like data center or whatever, like it gives you like issues. And I think you actually can't send different data center, but different server, it like gives me issues anytime I want to send a tell. Like you can't just like / tell their name. You have to like do some like type it a very specific way, and like sometimes you can't like control R their name and stuff. Like I don't know, it acts up a lot of times. And the friends list and blacklists are terrible in the game. Like I don't know what's going on with them, but it takes forever to load and it's so frustrating to use.
Your party, you're instead met with an error. If you have an option in a menu, it should just work. You shouldn't have to open up your social tab and drill down to your friends list or crossword link shelf for the same result just because it's broken in chat. Please, fix these menus. Also, chat bubbles.
I think the reason they don't want to fix this stuff is because people play the game regardless of these issues, and I don't actually think it deters most people from playing the game. I think most people that want to play the game will like it for what it is and look past its flaws, and that the developers think the same thing. They're okay with the game being flawed, and they don't feel like the inconvenience is enough to make people stop playing. And I would probably agree with them. I don't think most of this stuff really ultimately deters people from playing. It just pisses off players and that play it actively. It makes it frustrating.
NPCs have them, and we want that
exactly.
option,
Won't get the more
especially if you're an
subscribers.
RP enjoyer. Number 3, link shells. It's my wish to only have link shells. Let's give them all cross-world functionality, then just remove the bloat. I also can't remember the last time I used a fellowship, but I do know what I've seen when perusing the Finder.
I don't even know what a fucking fellowship does. 18 plus Discord community for kinky role players and kinky non-RPers. LGBTQ friendly? What the fuck? What? Why is this in the fellowship? Bro, why is this in the fellowship? What is this?
I'd say remove them if they don't really serve much of a purpose, or
Armpit fellowship?
just give those
Oh my
features
God.
to existing link shells. We could simply merge all of these features together into one cohesive communication tool. Then, let's increase the member cap and the number of link shells you can join or create. We want to make it easier to socialize and communicate with our friends,
Fellowship of the
static members,
Bros,
and online
yeah.
communities. Then we can stay connected to all of our link shells regardless of what DC its members are on. Number 2, cosmic exploration. Not much is known about this, but here's what I'd like to see.
I mean, literally just remake Ishgard Restoration. Just make it Cosmic Restoration or whatever it is. All I want is community-based events that the game facilitates, and everyone gathers together and does it. So that's what I'm hoping for. Maybe that's what he's gonna say, but like, honestly, if it's just literally Ishgard Restoration but in space, I'm happy.
What if it were like a sandbox-style environment where you can build bases and other structures, collect resources, learn more and explore other worlds, and even earn new mounts, minions, crafting materials, you name it. It could very well be a reconstruction-style instance where we help rebuild a zone over several phases, and I'm all for that.
There's rankings, I'm not
It
sleeping.
needs to
Me
be
neither.
a gigantic playground for all gatherers and crafters. Let's add some jump puzzles, riddles, treasure maps, exploration dungeons chock full of materials to gather and refine. This could also be a way to tie in
This sounds an awful lot of like Island Sanctuary. Yeah, but you should actually be able to do it with other people. Island Sanctuary was fine, just you couldn't do it with other people. If they had made Island Sanctuary, well, I'll take it out. Do not add the stock market thing that they have. Please never do that again. I never want to see the stock market thing ever again. I know it spawned a community with like the Island Bros or like it's like the something casual. I don't remember what it's called. I know it spawned that. Overseas Casuals, sorry. I know it spawned that. And I think it's great that that spawned a community. But I never want to touch ever again that mechanic in the game. It is so frustrating. I don't like it. It's boring to me, and I hate managing the system. It's because of I have to go through the 14 menu. If I didn't have to deal with the menu, maybe I'd be fine with it. But it's purely because the 14 menu is so cumbersome to like go through. I was doing this shit every single day or like weekly, and it's just like, man, I cannot, like, I don't want to do this. This is why I think I'd rather play Honkai Star Rail, is because the dailies in that like don't have me going through a cumbersome menu. Like, this is why I didn't like Island Sanctuary. Everything about Island Sanctuary was fine up until I had to deal with that for me.
crafting relics and their upgrades. I'm excited at the potential this content has,
Why are you have a
and I
gambling
hope it
addiction?
delivers
Yeah,
in a big
true.
way. And finally, number 1. If you know me, you probably guessed it. My biggest wish is for the friends list.
I agree.
I can't stand the friends list. It takes
Yep.
forever to load, and anytime you
Guys, here we go. Live. Please! Just load! And then it doesn't even put the people at the top fast enough. Please! Oh my god. And then when you go to fucking, like, your mailing list, or, like, going to the mailbox, it's so bad.
You hit any other menu, it closes it, causing you to reload and wait for your whole list to repopulate. Not only that, but it's not clear who's truly online.
Okay,
you have to click on a small icon next to your friends' names to see if they're actually on. Why doesn't it just know this? We need a modern friends list. One that instantly loads and doesn't care what server or DC people are on.
Yeah.
We should also make it easier to sort through your friends too. And let's include a notes field. People change their names, and I can't keep track of that.
Yeah,
it would be nice to make notes so you know it's someone's alt or someone you made in a raid that was awesome to play with. Let us sort and filter by last seen online, and make it much easier to remove and add people without repopulating the list every single time. Also, blocking and unfriending should be a two-way removal system.
Okay, this is so bad that you can't, when you remove someone, that it doesn't actually remove them from their list, because you can actually enable a situation where people get stalked. This is one of those things that, like, man, we really need this system fixed, is for this alone. If anything is fixed about the friends list and or blacks list, it needs to be when I remove my friend, or I remove a friend, it removes them from their list too. And the same thing is, like, if I blacklist them, it will remove them or from existence or whatever, because there's way too many, like, opportunities for people to get stalked and harassed. And I don't know. I think that's fucked up. JP things, they don't want to make it awkward. Well, I don't want people to get harassed. It's not about being awkward. The other half of that coin is, do you want people getting harassed? It's not like the GMs, like, will consistently deal with harassment. Just make it so the players can take it in their own hands that this person's eliminated from the world. If I nuke someone and they're on my blacklist, let them be gone permanently. Make it so they basically don't exist. I don't think they should. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And you shouldn't be paired in a duty with them either. If I randomly get paired with the person on my blacklist, that ruins the whole entire duty. I shouldn't. If they're in a party finder, I shouldn't see the party finder for that person. If I randomly queue in with them, that shouldn't happen. It should know. The game should know. And it should avoid harassment completely. I think that's crazy in 2024 that that's not a thing.
I don't want to be seen on someone else's list if I remove them. It's awkward. And I don't want them to see me or to know that I'm online. Yeah. If I remove them, my name should be removed from their list as well. Next, how cool is it when you hop into a dungeon and you randomly run into a buddy you didn't even know was online? Well, WoW has a great feature where you can see what your friends are up to in game and even join their groups if they're queued up for something.
That's kind of cool.
Your friend needs a fourth man for expert? Well, let's jump in and help. Oh, they need some bodies to farm EX trials or do some Savage prog. Hunt for some glamours, PvP. You use Quick Join to sync up with your buddies. I think we could benefit from this feature, and it could be extended to Duty Finder, Party Finder, pretty much any instance content. You can see what your friends are up to and just join them. It'll keep us more connected. We should also have the ability to send friend requests if they're offline. It could just be...
Yeah, I think it is absolutely ridiculous you cannot have a pending list for offline people. The fact that people have to be online with each other is ridiculous to me. I don't understand this at all. Also, Adonis, thank you so much for the resub for 11 months, and hi. Sorry I didn't get to that right away. I was in the middle of, like, absorbing this and probably talking. Yeah, hope you're having a good night too, Adonis.
A pending request. Or we could just have the friends list available even when you're not inside the game. It could be something much like how Steam has its friends list set up, or how Battle.net does it. You simply just have to...
So the problem with the Battle.net and Steam situation is they're actually launchers, and they're a persistent app that runs in the background. Square Enix would have to make an app that sits live on your computer 24/7 and manages all this. And then that system is connected somehow to the game. They're not going to do that. I'm sorry. I cannot believe they'll do this. I never think it'll happen. I never seen them like want to touch any of this app after Play Online. Play Online was the thing that, like, during the Final Fantasy XI era that basically was going to be this, or was essentially going to be this. And they decided to nuke Play Online when Final Fantasy XIV came out. And I mean, Play Online still exists for 11's sake, but like, this was going to be a thing. It's just, I don't see them going back after they've already, you know, given up on the idea, basically. And half the time, Square Enix's systems don't work the greatest when it comes to, like, online, like, stuff. Like, if you've ever tried to go through the store, you've ever tried to pre-order, you've tried to do any of this stuff, you know it's cumbersome. And I don't think it's a focus of theirs, and I don't think it's something they like really prioritize as like a big feature. I just unrealistically think this happening. If we could have something like this, great. But I don't even know if I would want something like this from them sitting on my computer constantly, because you'd probably get spammed with like ads and shit, is what I'd guess. Because, you know, I'm on the 14 like mailing list or whatever for like my account, right? And I'm buying shit off the store, I'm paying my subscription, but randomly, I get fucking other messages about completely other games that I've never subscribed to on my email accounts. I wonder how they got that, and I guarantee they would shove so many Square Enix products in your face through the system that I wouldn't care about. So personally, I don't want this from them. I'd rather just like it be attached to Steam or whatever other game or Discord and managed that way. But I would never want to like have a persistent, almost like SE app running. Like I get the appeal of it, but like I think this is why Discord exists. This is why I use Discord. I don't know.
To have the launcher up, and you can access your friends list. And hey, maybe we can even extend that to the link shells that we're in, so we can further enhance our communication. We kind of already have a version of this with the companion app, but it only communicates from app to app with no messages going to friends in-game. It's also mobile only, so there's no native desktop chat client.
Outside of to get the email.
There seems to be a framework for a chat client. We just need to be able to talk to our friends, free companies, and link shells in-game from it. Additionally, having the sorting features, notes, and seeing what your friends are doing would be a godsend.
I would like the idea if the app actually worked and that's how it was functioning. I have no problem with it. This working this way, I'd be fine with it. If this was what was on your desktop and it was only 14 related and it only did that, then it'd be fine. I worried so much other shit would get shoved in there, and it'd be bloat, because if they're running this persistent app and it costs them money to run the app and maintain the app, I feel like they would just do other stuff with it that you don't want them doing.
This has potential to strengthen our community and to more easily connect with our friends who may not use Discord or hang out on Twitch. With the current state of link shells being unreliable, an update is sorely needed. Then we should have the ability to set our privacy level, so we can be displayed as online or invisible or do not disturb. Maybe we're in a progression setting. Whatever the reason, but we should have some more customization to our friends list, and it should be way more functional and user-friendly than we currently have. Please, please, please update the friends list.
Yeah, the friends list needs help.
Well, that's all I got for now. What would you like to add to your own wish list? Let me know in the comments below, and please like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, when did they add this? When he put that on there, it like made the fucking subscription button glow.
Like to add to your own wish list? Let me know in the comments below, and please like and subscribe to this channel.
What the fuck? I didn't know this. Have you guys seen this? When did they do this?
List. Well,
Watch
that's
it.
all I got for now. What would you like to add to your own wish list? Let me know in the comments below, and please like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this
Dude,
video.
that's fucking cool.
Thank you so much for watching.
didn't know
and
we
I'll
could
see
do that.
you in Dawntrail.
Orange cat moment? I've never seen that before. You can add that on your timeline? Holy shit, I didn't know about that at all. Oh my god. I didn't know about it. It blew my fucking, what the fuck, not subscribed? Because I didn't know Todd made content until this video, so now I'm gonna subscribe and I'm gonna like the video, okay? I am now. I didn't know. I had no idea. I learned today. I learned something new thanks to Todd. Holy shit.